Please join me in welcoming our performers for this evening.
My name is Paul, and I'm an actor based in Chicago, but born and raised here in Milwaukee. It's a privilege to be working with all three of these people today to spread kindness, empathy, altruism, love, and peace, because there's nothing more important in our world today or ever.
My name is Allison, and I'm an actor in Chicago. And when I think about strategies for spreading kindness and peace, I think of Adrienne Marie Brown's emergent strategy, where the concept is cultivating peace and kindness within yourself, within your household, within your community, and it keeps branching and branching out. But it starts with cultivating it in yourself.
Hi everybody, my name is Christina. I am also a Chicago actor. And when it comes to peace and kindness, I do my best to implement that in my everyday life. In Chicago, I'm not sure if everyone knows this, but there is a large homeless population. And I think it's very easy for many of us to pass by them every day and not see them as people. Something that I recognized within myself that I was becoming one of those people because it felt easier. I think it's important to look every person in the eye when you look past them, give them a smile, see how they're doing, because everybody has a different story. Everybody has different struggles, different things to be prideful of, and taking that extra second to ask how somebody's doing, even if you don't have any money to give or food to give right away, that is a small way to spread kindness in a community, to make people feel like they matter, because everyone does, and see what it is inside yourself that you can make a small change in every day in your community, and see how you can improve people's daily lives by just those small changes.
Good evening, I'm Raphael Engel, and I'm grateful to be standing here. It's the kindness of my friend Paul, who through circumstance made it possible based on something I had created about 18 years ago. Is that me?
No.
In any event, what I've come up with is something to the effect of we're looking to create a better world. And we all know what's happening on the streets these days. And what comes up is to create a better world, is what my cohorts here have touched on, is we begin inside. It's not something that happens through a number of other elements. We live it today. We begin to live the world we want to be in, and it does happen from the inside out. I can only imagine you've come to hear what we're about. We have some fun things planned. We have some surprises. I don't know how much housekeeping was here, but you're a good audience. Nothing is going to occur where you're going to be concerned about because there's improv, that we're going to do something to embarrass you, or you're going to have to do something. Everything is volunteer. Playback theater is based on honoring the storyteller. And you all can be storytellers before the night's over. Who knows? So I guess I'm going to move over to the podium where I have some notes you all can hang for a moment, and then we'll begin the play.
And it would be great if phones could be turned off. Thank you.
So you all had a handout, hopefully had a chance to read it. And the foundation of the work we do is all based on stories, people's personal stories. Everything is a story. Everything we do is a story. I mean, what you had for breakfast, describing it to a friend, I had the greatest breakfast this morning. Oh, really? What was it? And you begin to tell that. It's a story. The biggest story in our lives is about us, you know. Being loved, being honored, being seen, being heard. And so we develop not so much tactics, but ways of being in the world that get us known. And once we're comfortable with that, then the real ability to work with people begins. Some call it, ego, some call it other things, but once we're comfortable in our own skin, then the work that we choose to do, and I'm referencing not day-to-day work to earn your daily bread, but to make a difference. And so Marquette and the Center for Peacemaking is a specific vehicle for going out into the world and attempting to make the difference we can. And it's not a question of we did this, it's a question of sharing from our hearts and knowing and trusting that something good will happen. What my cohorts here have indicated is it's a simple thing. Kindness is giving someone a thumbs up, saying hello. When you see something that is challenging for other people, just to intercede however you feel moved to do it. A smile. You just don't know the difference you're going to make in someone's life. Being present in your own skin will guide us, will guide each one of us. And I can only imagine that you folks are doing this already to some degree. So I'm real big on whoever shows up are the right people at the right time. I guess I'll just launch into what caused me to conceive of and create Global Playback Theater. I don't know how much I didn't read what was there, but it was during the days of the former president, and it was during a time when he and others were looking for the nuclear weapons in some other country, and he was pretty focused on getting that, and he had said something to the effect of, I'll do whatever it takes to do my job in protecting our country. And that scared the hell out of a lot of people, and they started leaving the United States, those who had the means to do that. And I began hearing this, and I'm going, there's something really wrong with this. And I published a monthly magazine with another person, and we used to walk and talk about what we're going to do next. And this became, it began to annoy me, like, there's something wrong with this kind of perspective that, and I mentioned this earlier to folks, peace isn't the absence of war. Peace, one teacher of mine said, if I have peace, and you have peace, and you have peace, then peace can begin. And then we work in whatever way we're moved to work to do this. So I walked around with that on my head, in my heart, and I remember, well, wait a minute, you have a vehicle to do something. Playback theater is about 50 years old, and it's performed all over the world in places you wouldn't even think of it. Kosovo, Bangladesh, Africa, South America, Russia, China, Japan, there are playback units, whether they're small ensembles or large companies. So I thought about this and I said, what if we could come together and show unity, and everybody would be performing in their own country, in their own way, in their own language, in their own culture, on a given theme. And through different conversations, mainly with the man who created Playback, Jonathan Fox, I ran this by him and he said, do it. I said, we need a really strong thing to begin. And I told him some of my ideas, and he said, too strong. Begin with something that is, capable for people to digest. So I thought about it, and I came up with the idea of kindness. And I saw a bumper sticker they used to have in the Random Acts of Kindness Foundation. I used to see them on people's cars. I said, kindness, yeah. If people shared kindness, that would be a step toward peace. And we look at what it did with people. And members of my company in Asheville said, oh, we're going to hear all these fluffy stories of, I was kind, I got the cat out of the tree, and, I helped the child across the street. I said, well, that's something. He said, well, So I thought about it, and I said, we got to balance this, What's the alternative? Missed opportunities for kindness. I would imagine we each here and everywhere have had a taste of both. We've been on the receiving end, and we have let our lives, our busy lives maybe, have us pass that person on the street because we were in a hurry, we had an appointment, on and on and on, and we missed that opportunity. And I know for myself, when those things happened to me, I said, wait, I just blew it. This isn't right. And I began to learn from my mistakes. And so I upped the ante for myself, and I began practicing. So to be able to practice kindness is to walk down the street and say, hi, how you doing today? Or see something that needed to be done and go help somebody do it. And these things build up and they become a muscle, and we flex that muscle and we begin to make a difference, and we begin to see the feedback that this is worthwhile. So that's how global playback began. The word got out, Jonathan spread the word through his network, and when we performed the first global playback event on stories of kindness and missed opportunity, 80 theater companies, playback theater companies, on 6 continents, 30 countries performed on that theme, and the feedback I got from how their experience was in their own culture, in their own country, made such a difference. They all said, what are we going to do next? So I was introduced to a woman who was on the education committee with the United Nations, and I flew to New York, and for the next 5 years we partnered with the United Nations on deeper issues, all having to do with social justice. And needless to say, we wove into these kinds of events kindness leading toward peace, and it began to get wings, and for a while, people began to notice changes. They measured it. There were people that were measuring through transcendental meditation in New York how the problems in the city, the robberies, the violence, it went down immeasurably because they were in a meditative place, they were practicing kindness, and things radically changed. Now, as time moved on, we're in a very large evolutionary cycle. And for those who do the reading and research, these cycles occur at very specific times. And like it or not, what's going on in the street, we still have to do it. We still have to be centered in ourselves, trust and allow that if I do my part and others do their part, we're moving toward the place where peace is possible. So, I'm going to end it here. We're going to play a little game. And again, I want to make it clear, nothing is going to be embarrassing to you. And if, after I explain this little game, it's a very simple thing, it seems a little off to you, have the experience, jump in anyway. It's a very simple thing, and once we're done with it, you know, you'll have the opportunity to share with all of us what took place in your conversation, and then you'll get to see us play it back. We're doing what we call short forms, which are quicker. In Playback, there are major stories, and it's a phenomenal experience. Has anybody here seen Playback, a regular Playback performance anywhere? Okay. No. Good, okay. Anyway, the way the game works is, and some of you may have to move to me, this is a partner thing. I'm going to ask you to choose a partner, and you'll have 3 minutes each to speak to your partner on where in your life you received kindness, or you had an instance where someone did walk by you and someone missed the opportunity for kindness, and so did the person who was on the receiving end. They needed help and nobody helped them because someone was too busy. Or you did something that was kind and you saw the smile on somebody's face or a thank you, or you realized you missed it and you're the one who walked past the person on the street. So find, in 3 minutes, quickly, find something that you can call back and share with your partner. And after 3 minutes, you'll switch, and your partner will do the same thing. It's your story of kindness or your story of missed opportunities, and we'll give you a heads up in 1 minute to go, and then we'll stop, and then we'll begin the playback. Is it clear? Okay, so if you don't have a partner, please partner up. You gonna be the timekeeper? Thank you.
So, start wrapping up your thoughts. Thank you. How was that? Talking with your now, I'm seeing thumbs up. Very nice. So I'm curious, if someone has a moment that they shared that you would like to share out to the group and see performed by our actors. By raise of hands? What stories do we have? Yes.
I bought a man outside of Sydney a sandwich. Last week.
You got a man a sandwich. He seemed like a homeless man.
Yes, a community member.
A community member. Yes. Why did you decide to do that?
Because he asked me nicely, and I said, why not? So,
And how does it feel providing for your community?
me and like what I'm supposed to do if I have the means to do it.
If I have the means to do it, it's what I'm supposed to do. Yes. And what's your name?
Alana.
Alana. Thank you, Alana. So we'll do this as...
Can you restate what she said, please?
So Alana just shared a story, how she bought a sandwich for someone in the community in need, and that it felt gratifying that she was able to provide for someone in her community. So how about we do this as a 3-part story? So, This is Alana's story. Let's watch.
Oh my. I wonder what the person looks really down. Oh, I know. You what? You're hungry. Oh, really? I can do something. Wait right here. This is for you.
Thank you, this really means a lot to me. It's nice that I was able to ask for this, and I wasn't made to feel guilty or less than. You are just willing to be nice to me and help me out, so thanks for making me feel like I'm human.
I come here to Sendix all the time to get my groceries, and sometimes I see someone like this person. I think I've seen this person before. And I've gone past too many times without doing anything about it. To give a sandwich to someone who's hungry feeds me too.
Thank you, actors. Alana, what was it like for you to see that?
I'm sorry. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sorry, I laugh a lot. That was very heartwarming. I'm glad I saw that.
Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
I wonder what other stories were discussed between partners. I wonder if someone had a story about a time where you received support or kindness from a stranger or someone important to you. Describing what it means to receive something from someone else.
This man is waving at you.
Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. Hi.
So it's a small thing, might seem strange, but what it was is I was doing my laundry one time. Oh, thank you. And so I was about to put my clothes in the dryer in my dorm hall, and then I find out that someone had some clothes put off to the side. She and her friend had just come into the room. I realized that, and I just said, okay, you were clearly here first, I'll wait. They felt like they had to give me something for letting them go ahead, and I just said, no, please don't. I don't need anything, just go in there. One of them runs back up to her room and comes back and brings me $3. This was maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, and I still use those dollars as bookmarks in my history books right now.
Why do you think you decided to use those dollars as bookmarks?
Well, I was reading a book for a class there one time that I had with me while I was waiting for it.
Oh, so it just was.
Yeah, it was just really good timing. And even though we switched over books very recently, I was just like, I'm just going to keep doing that. Besides, I think it's a better idea than just keeping it in my wallet where I might just spend it on something I don't need.
So it's also kind of serving as a reminder for you.
It is, yes, actually, yes.
Yeah, interesting. And what's your name?
Brennan.
Brennan. What's interesting to me of what you shared is that these young women were so surprised by your act of kindness. It almost says something about like our culture, that kindness can be surprising sometimes. And yet your kindness fed theirs, and you're keeping this dollar as
I was surprised too.
an idea. Yeah. Brennan?
Yes.
Okay.
Like a 3-time Academy Award winner Walter Grover.
Nice.
It's not my namesake, that's just the most famous example I can think of.
Okay. Actors, how about we do this as turning point? Yeah, and Raphael, would you want to be the center?
Sure.
Sure. So it's basically a 3-part story, Christina. Okay. This is Brennan's story. Let's watch.
You girls could go first. It's all good. You were here first anyways. So I'm just gonna hang back in my room. I got you. Have a good day. We're good.
What? You did this for me? That's amazing. I mean, it's such a small thing, but my goodness, I've never had that experience before. I've got an idea. Wait right here. No. I know it's not necessary, but it's necessary for me to, give back. Really? Well, thank you very much.
This is kind of crazy. You really didn't have to, and my instinct is to just, I don't know, cram it into your purse or something and force you to take it back. But if it meant something to you to thank me in this tangible way, I should accept it with graciousness. And I think I'll continue to honor this gift by keeping these $3, and I'll think of you and what you didn't have to do, but you did for me and for kindness.
Thank you, actors. I see you nodding, giving a thumbs up. How did it feel seeing your story?
Yes, definitely more, what's the word? I don't know if the word poignant quite right fits it, but definitely more rewarding to see it explained out in the more straightforward sense. It was they're definitely very good. It's one of those things that we have sort of in the back of our minds, but we don't really bring forward too much. Seeing that illustrated here is definitely, it shows just how rewarding a small action can look like and how much more impact it actually means on like the rest of your night. I was doing laundry late that night, so yeah.
The kindness went a long way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Yes, and what I loved about what you just said now is how it really was a small moment and possibly something that you could forget. But as Raphael was explaining earlier, how these stories that we tell in playback can be small, we found meaning in that, right? So that's just something I personally think is really beautiful about playback theater, is that everyone has meaningful stories to tell. Something that you've been learning about peacemaking that you're excited about? Yes.
One thing that we are learning.
Oh, someone's passing you a mic.
One thing that we're learning about, we actually read about, that I thought was interesting, was
Can't hear you. Hold it in front of your mouth.
implementing like peacemaking in war.
Implementing peacemaking in
We
war.
had a reading that actually showed the results that peacefully implementing strategies to end like war type things was almost double as effective as violence. And I never thought about that growing up. I kind of just always heard that there was a reason that people were going to war, that was the only solution. So we're kind of talking about that right now.
Wow, that is very interesting. So the research shows that peaceful intervention in global conflicts is more effective than violent actions. And that was like a big thing for you to hear because, as you said, you grew up, and I think many of us grew up thinking that that's just something that has to happen. What are your thoughts now after reading that?
I definitely think of things in a different way. Because it's weird when you're brought up on a certain idea and then you realize that wasn't the truth, that's just what you were like fed in your head. So I kind of just think about things differently now, like different ways that I can deal with conflict. It doesn't always have to be a huge argument, that there's possibly other like peaceful ways that I can end it.
Interesting. So you've you've learned from that strategy to apply in your own life as well. Interesting. Actors, we're going to do this as a fluid sculpture, focusing on this discovery of how effective peaceful intervention can be compared to violence. And what is your name?
Sophia.
Sophia. Thank you, Sophia. This is Sophia's story. Let's watch.
Violence is the way. You have to teach people a lesson. Violence is the way.
See,
have to teach people a lesson.
Why does that have to be true? It just feels so wrong. Hey, that
Violence
hurts
is the
people.
way. You have to teach people a lesson.
That just doesn't sit well with me.
Let me look into this a little more fully. Really? Whoa, there are actual studies and statistics. No, it's not the way.
Violence is the way.
No, that can't
Have
be
to
it.
right
That
here.
must be all there is.
I can protect myself and take a risk for peace. I can protect myself and take a risk for peace.
That can work.
I can protect myself and take a risk for peace.
That can work too. Thank you, actors. Sophia, what was that like to see?
That was really accurate, because I had so many different ideas while reading it, like, how is this true? I didn't think I reread it. Because it's just something that I've never been taught in my 21 years, or ever even heard until my senior year of college. So
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to realize that fact.
yeah. Thank you for sharing. I'm really glad to hear that, that research as well. How are we doing on time, everybody? I want to make sure. Oh, okay, so, you think we have time for maybe 2, maybe 3 more stories? Okay, great. Do any of you want to, or are you guys good with me? Okay, I'll keep going. But that was so cool to hear, Sophia. I wonder if that has inspired, another thought or story in the audience. Yes?
Okay.
Hi, okay, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, thanks for asking.
Okay. So similar to what Sophia said, we just had a reading, I actually did a reflection on it last night, and it was kind of along the same grounds, but we learned that there is both positive and negative peace, which I thought was really like strange to hear, because I never thought of peace as like a negative thing. Like I've always thought that it was this thing that was just like full of happiness and joy, and I never thought that there could be like a negative version of it. But basically what it means is like negative peace is when there's like conflict or something going on and you just do nothing instead of being proactively peaceful, which is positive peace. So I thought that was cool, because I always had this like idea set in my head that peace was just this uplifting thing all the time, and I never thought that it could be something that wasn't like in your face happy.
Yeah, so interesting. So if, just so that I can understand the difference between positive and negative peace. So negative peace would be more like being a bystander in the face of violence. Yes, so the violence is still happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you're not doing anything that really benefits the situation. You're just
I
kind of
see.
ignoring it, so.
Yeah, but then positive peace, it sounds more like action.
Yes.
Yeah. When you read that, can you just tell me a little bit more of like what came up for you as you thought about what that meant and how that applies for you and your studies or ideas about what you want to do?
Yeah, when I read it, obviously, like I said, I never thought that it could be like a negative thing, but it kind of made me realize that a lot of the peace that I see in my everyday life is usually negative. Like it like doesn't do like this huge leap in being peaceful or providing like an actual result.
Yeah.
It more just kind of addresses the fact and then leaves it alone. And I feel like I see that everywhere. And I feel like moving forward, I'm going to try to be more positively peaceful and not just ignore things and be like, oh, that would be nice if it was better, but I can't really do anything.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to like ignore that part of it and then be more proactive with my thoughts and resolutions.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's your name?
My name is Kendall.
Kendall.
Please
Okay.
propound this
So Kendall read something I'm sorry, what are your pronouns?
She, her.
So Kendall read something in her studies that there is a concept called positive peace and negative peace, where negative peace does not take action to take action against violence, either, I guess, happening currently or systemically, yes? And then positive peace is taking action that actually enacts change. And so Kendall was surprised to notice how much negative peace she saw in her, on this campus, is that what you would say?
Society in general.
And society in general.
Thing, yeah.
Would you say that there's even negative peace that you notice yourself engage in?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so
I could be a lot more proactive with things than I am.
Yeah, and so she has realized now that she can make the choice to be more proactive and make choices that actually enact change. Yeah. I wonder if we could do this as pairs and actors. So we'll be seeing the tension between negative peace and positive peace. Yes? Okay. So this is Kendall, right? Kendall's story. Let's watch.
I know what this person is doing is problematic, but I'm gonna keep the peace and I'm gonna just kind of let it go. I don't know, I don't really feel like getting in a fight with another friend. I mean, everyone has their own opinions, right? Everyone kind of thinks their own things, right?
No, not right.
I mean, it's not a big deal. It was just a couple comments. I mean, that's not really hurting anyone, right?
It's not helping anyone.
Yeah, but I don't really want to deal with the stress of arguing with somebody, even though what they said was really messed up.
If you have a lot of privilege, it's easy for you to say, what about the people who were suffering? How are we going to make a difference with this kind of concept?
But I don't want to suffer and have the conversation.
So as I've been learning about this concept of negative and positive peace, I've seen that, like, I don't know, stuff like paying it forward at Starbucks, that looks like something that's like kind and peaceful and stuff, but it has me wondering, like, what does it really do? You know, and I feel like I want more than that. You know, don't we deserve more?
We want things to be calm and quiet, but what if it's quiet because people's voices are being still? That's not fair, is it?
No, I feel like there's something more meaningful that people can be putting their energy towards to enact change that is beyond a Starbucks drive-through. You know?
There's injustice out there.
Yeah, there is.
Can there be peace where there's injustice?
No, there can't. There can't be peace where there is injustice.
So we need to speak up, don't we, and make things fair in order to make things kind and peaceful.
Yeah. All right, sign me up. How do I organize?
Well, I'm glad you asked.
Thanks. Thank you, actors. Linda, what was that like for you to see?
I did have to chuckle because I have paid it forward in a Starbucks drive-thru. I thought that was really funny because I felt like a celebrity for the rest of the day. I
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but with what you're saying is you want to make change.
Yeah. And I also really like the situation that Christina brought up too, because I've been in that situation and I've done exactly what she did. So I feel like it kind of just shows, like, even though you're not actively contributing to the violence or the conflict, by doing nothing you technically are.
Yes.
Like, you're not helping anything. So I thought that was great portrayal and I loved it.
Yeah. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I was really glad to learn that concept too.
Yeah,
Let's give a round of applause. Can I just have a contact really quick?
Yeah, I think for one more on the step.
All right, one more story.
Could we,
Oh.
could we maybe do two more, because Kendall's story inspired me for something that I
Oh, sure.
Yes.
So, it's International Day of Peace. I was picking up my 4 kids from school today, and I asked my second grader and fourth grader, what did you do? And they said that they had made signs and gone across the street to the old folks' home, and they were going to talk to these, senior citizens about peace. And one of the kids in my daughter's class made a sign that said "honk for peace," even though they were going inside in their own cars. And basically they go in, and I guess their friend is just like goofing around with the sign, and some of the folks in the old folks' homes are going honk, 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 or whatever.
Oh, that is so sweet.
But then, as they were walking back across the street, some of the seniors decided to walk with them. And when they got near the street, one of the seniors said, like, "Hey, why aren't you holding up your sign?" And the seniors started holding up the sign, and they got 22 honks, she said.
Oh.
And, I was saying, "Oh, so how did that make you feel?" And she said, "Well, then everyone started holding up their signs, and people started honking." And she said, "It's funny, because all of a sudden it became fun, and at first she was embarrassed of her sign when she got called out on it." So, that's the story.
I think that's really beautiful how, like peacemaking and change work, like it can be fun. In fact, like it kind of should, because then it becomes contagious. How did you feel when you received that news from your kids?
I mean, I thought it was like a cute, funny story, but I was also sort of impressed with those seniors, and these were all school sisters of Notre Dame. They went to their mother house there, and I thought, how cool is it that these older people were, sort of inspiring these young kids to not just go and visit them, but go out and do something. I thought that was a nice challenge.
Yeah, beautiful. Actors, what a Oh, okay. Let's do this as a fluid sculpture then.
Okay.
Yes, okay. This is Pat's story. Let's watch.
Well, it's so silly, I made this sign and I'm indoors. What was I thinking?
Come on, let's go. Honk for peace! Honk for peace!
What was I thinking?
Honk for peace! Oh my gosh. Honk for peace! I'm so proud of that. Honk for peace! How wonderful that my kids got to have this experience. Honk for peace! That my kids got to have this experience of spreading kindness and receiving it back. Isn't it wonderful how contagious this is?
22 honks.
I'm just so proud of my kids and my community. Thank you, actors. How did that resonate for you?
I think that's exactly what it looked like.
Yeah. Nice. And okay, if we can get one more story in, and then we have something very special to share. So I saw you had your hand raised.
Yeah, this goes back to the random acts of kindness, the first part.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in a hotel. I was staying pretty far away, and really crowded lobby. And I had to pay for, I don't remember, I had to pay for something, and realized my wallet was gone.
Oh.
So I freaked out, and I'm running all over the place back to my room, and this is pre-smartphone. And so after looking everywhere, I decided to ask the front desk, like the lost and found, even though I figured nobody would turn it in, because there was $300 in it. But I went and asked, did somebody turn the wallet? I go, oh yeah. And I'm like, awesome. And I'm like, yeah, I bet the money's gone, but it was all in there.
Wow. Wow.
So it went from feeling, despair instantly to just feeling wonderful.
Yes.
And I never found out who it was. I wish I knew who that was.
Yes. Yeah, you don't even know who that Good Samaritan was. Yes, so actors, we'll do this as a 3-part story. We're going to, and I'm sorry, what's your name?
Bob.
So we'll do this as a three-part story where we'll see Bob losing his wallet and then and then finding it. And then I think the end is just the surprise and thoughts that you're left with that like someone did this and left the money in, you know, and how profound an act of kindness that is. Yes. So, would you like me to be in this one? Do you want
Please.
to? Sure. Okay. Thank you. This is Bob's story. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm traveling. I can't not have my wallet. Like I need this. Oh my gosh. I'm screwed. Because we know what the world is. We know that that wallet is gone and there is no hope for me. I am so screwed.
So, oh, Dunkin' Donuts coupon, nice. Maybe I take ooh, American Express, love them. What's this guy's name? Bob. There's like a lot of Bobs. How can I return this? Oh, I know. Here you go.
Oh, I thought this was my unlucky day, but my monkey's in here too. I've felt terrible ever since I lost it, but I think I feel better now than I did before I lost it because, oh, mine's in? Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you feel like that captured your story?
Yeah, that's how I felt. Right.
Even better than before you lost your wallet.
Exactly.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you for sharing. All right, I am going to pass over the conclusion of our event to Paul and Raphael to take us home. Yes. Paul, would you like to describe what we're about to do?
I'll give a little preface to it while Ralph gets ready. Long before we met and realized we had a lot of common ground as actor activists, I was a little kid watching him in the 1971 low-budget cult classic film Dracula vs. Frankenstein. And he was the coolest Dracula, had that fro. Every time he spoke, his voice echo, echo, echo. I realized recently why that portrayal and others in those kinds of movies meant so much to me, and this skit kind of then developed between Ralph and me, or Zandor Vorkov, as he was known. Wow, this must be the place. This must be it. Are you who I think you are?
Who are you?
I'm a visitor, a fan, a hope, a friend, and someone who has really liked to talk with you for a minute. And are you who I think you are?
I'm the Count of Darkness, and the Lord of the Manor of Carpathia. What are you doing here?
I can explain. Would you let me come in?
You can explain from there.
All right. have no wooden stake or mallet. I have no garlic. I have no cross and no mirror.
What are you doing here?
Not here to threaten or attack you, and I hope I won't be attacked either. I just wanted to thank you. Thank you.
That doesn't answer my question. What are you doing here?
Yes, I'm here to explain why you've been so important to me. When I was a kid, I was bullied a lot because I didn't really fit. And I went through a lot of rejection, like you have, I guess, and a lot of shaming and my classmates just kind of pushing me around, saying I didn't fit in, shunning me,
What are you doing here?
just like what they do to you.
Get on you.
And as I got older, I came to see that you, Wolfman and Frankenstein Monster, all of these characters and the movies I love, I think I loved them because I was like them or they were like me, rejected, but with powers and abilities that maybe those people doing that to me didn't have.
Oh, my.
And I'm not putting myself on your level, I'm just saying that your example was an inspiration. And what I'm here to do is simply tell you that story and say, thank you, Kent. And please don't bite me.
Is that all you have to say?
Just wanted to give you my gratitude.
These two are waiting to give you their gratitude.
Yeah. Well, I guess now that I'm done talking, I can take my leave safely, right?
You're very brave to show up this way. You're very brave.
Thank you. Wow. He patted my shoulder, and he didn't bite me. I guess if I can elicit a little kindness from Dracula, then anyone can be kind. Maybe the answer is gratitude. Thank you.
Well, I believe, is this the conclusion of our program? Is there anything else that we have to share?
Just on behalf of the Center for Peacemaking and Marquette University, I want to extend our deepest gratitude. All four of you traveled here, you spent your time in classes, visiting community sites, and then sharing the stage tonight. And so, much appreciation, and happy International Day of Peace.
Today is Peace Day. What's tomorrow? Is that a Kindness Day? What about the next day? And the next day? Take a deep breath and go inside yourself and you'll find the answer. Thank you very much.